Hello, winners, and welcome to Two for the Win with your hosts, Nick and Will. Well, I finally fulfilled one of my bucket list items. I went on a Virgin Voyages cruise, went on the Scarlet Lady. Happy to share my experience, what I liked, what sort of things I was like, maybe they could think differently about. But before we jump into it, please be sure to subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win on your favorite platform. And big shout out and thanks to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring this episode. So happy Wanderlust Wednesday, Nick.
Happy Wanderlust Wednesday, Will, and hello, winners.
Hello. So yeah, I'm kind of I was very excited to try Virgin. I know we've talked about it on a number of episodes. I know you've been on it and raved about it, and rightly so. And so I was very glad. I did a 5-day cruise, was on the Scarlet Lady, and really excited to kind of share my experience. But before I do, anything you want to chat like high level about Virgin for people who maybe haven't tried it or considering it?
No, today it's your floor. You experienced it, and I did it 3 times, so I will probably, jump in at some points. But I did 2 times Scarlet Lady, 1 time Valiant Lady. I never did Resilient Lady, but they all ladies are the same. There is like a very, very small difference in the Resilient one. They have like a 9 deck with 2 hammock on the balcony. So that's the main difference compared to the other ones. The rest, they have the same restaurants, the same bar, the same lick it till you scream ice cream place. They have the same all. It's just the name of the ship will change pretty much between the 3. The 4th one will be a little bit different, but barely as well. So, but yeah, I want to know. So your first impression, like you went from Miami, right?
Yeah. So
yeah,
when
yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, we went out of Miami and, so again, for those who may not know, Virgin Voyages was founded by Richard Branson, from Virgin Records. Anyone who knows Sir Richard Branson or knows his story knows he is huge into music. He's huge into adventure, and he's all about experiencing life and just kind of going for it, kind of like the 1% push. And but anyway, so you walk in to Virgin, and it's a little it's more similar to like what we saw on Princess and some of the other ones, where there's not this huge grand opening into the foyer. But unlike Princess, where really was kind of underwhelming, I didn't get that. I still got a cool factor walking in, but it wasn't because it opened up to this huge, like, open space. It was because they had employees already rocking it out and dancing. So, like, you're walking in and they're dancing and welcoming you and stuff, and it's like this vibe, right? And it's kind of like a rock and roll vibe where it's just energy, dance, fun, enjoy the moment. So I walk in, and sure enough, what do I see immediately to the left? The Lick It Till I ice cream.
Lick it till you scream.
And then immediately to the right is the pizza place, which I know you talked about, which was really cool. So right off the bat, I did the Lick It Till You Scream, and did that. And that was kind of the tone for this trip, which I'll talk more about. But you also had shared, they give you when you go to check in, they give you the little rope band with an anchor, and it's got the little medallion on it or whatever. And you use that for everything. So that serves as your wallet. It serves as your room key. And I have to say, extremely convenient. Like it just really was. You didn't have to worry about carrying a card or having cash or anything like that. So anyway, after we got the ice cream, went to the room, checked in. The room is more spacious. So I just got a regular balcony room.
Okay.
Wasn't like one of the oversized ones, but it was very spacious. It was easy to get around. Bathrooms, of course, are smaller, but it wasn't like, I never felt like I couldn't do what I had to do, whether it was a shower or brushing the teeth or whatever. So that was fine. But I have to say, a couple of home run things about the room that I really like. One is you get so the remote is basically like a
Mm,
mini tablet, and it controls you have blackout shades, and it controls the ambiance, which is really cool. So you have different lighting settings. So if you want a cool vibe, it'll dim the lights, go cool blue. You want something a little more, snazzy, you can do that, which is cool. So you can play around with that, which is fun. Um, yeah, plenty of movies you can pick from and stuff like that, and then, a few stations, and I remembered as soon as I saw it how you're talking about the ESPN is like the offshore ESPN, so that's a little different, but the main sporting events I wanted to see, had no problem seeing them, so that was cool. But the other home run was out on the balcony, the hammock. And so this hammock is comfortable. You can use it obviously to lay down in, you can use it to sit in, you can kind of swing a little bit. Um, but I'm not a small person. And so when was fine in it. And if you have two people on the balcony, fine. Like it wasn't like you're feeling cramped or anything like that. So have to give a shout out on the hammock. It was a nice touch. And I found that I spent more time on the balcony with Virgin than I have on
mm,
any other cruise that I've been on before because it was very comfortable
mhm.
on that one.
Well, I love it. First of all, we need to tell our audience or winners the purpose of your cruise because when you said about the ambiance in the room, I'm like, oh, just so you know, Will was there for an anniversary cruise. So I'm pretty sure
It
that he
was.
used a couple of different ambiance type. So good for you, brother. I
Yeah.
really like that. I love what you said. I forgot about it actually, about the remote, like the tablet kind of thing with all the
Uh,
different things. It's true that it's very easy when you want at night to close the thing, and in the morning you don't have to get up and then open it. So I really like that. I would add one more thing. Not you're probably gonna bring it up, but I love when I go into Virgin's room, you have those 2 carafe of water. You have the
yeah, I
still
had that.
water
Yeah.
and you
Yes.
have what do you call it? The bubble water? How do you say that in
Oh,
English?
sparkling or still.
Sparkling water. And I love you have those 2, and then you can tell your room attendees like, "Hey, I just want still or I just want the other one," and they will make sure that it's refurbished every day. That's something's missing for me in a lot of majority of the other cruise line where you need to always bring the water from the casino or something, or you have to pay for it. Here, it's automatically in the room, when you get in. Just something to remember, with Virgin, the drinks, not the alcoholic drink and not the specialty coffee, but all the other drinks are included. So there's no like a pick, like pick and dime about everything. You just have everything over there. But yeah, thank you for the room. I really appreciate it, and it's true what you said. I forgot about it. So thank you so much. So what's next after checking the room?
So yeah, checking in the room. I think one of the things that I appreciate you guiding me on because I wouldn't have done it had you not told me about it was booking the restaurants in advance. So at Virgin, they don't have they have specialty dining, but it's not the traditional specialty dining where you have to pay extra for it. So it's all included. So whether you want to go to the Galley, which I'll talk more about in a little bit, or you want to go to one of their themed restaurants, it's no cost. So it's all included on that. But in fairness, um, you gave me the heads up. You're like, "Hey, after midnight, as soon as you can, when they open it up, reserve." And even I did it at like 6 a.m. So it was like 6 hours after it opened. It was, you had to make some trade offs, like on certain days, if you're thinking about different
Mhm.
things. Now, I didn't really care because whether I have Chinese on one day or another day is not a big
Yeah.
deal. But it does fill quick. And the other thing is, I forgot to mention, is I was walking in, and this Virgin employee wasn't necessarily dancing, but very bubbly, high energy. But she was part of the events, and so I walked up to her and I said, "Okay, what should I be registering for? What should I do that you don't see that I have?" And so she pulled up my app, she scanned my little thing on my wrist, And then she marked down that I had a shellfish allergy. So anytime I went, everyone already knew that I had that, and so they took the precautions for that. And then and she's like, "Oh, we have this comedy supper club." She's like, "I would move." I forget which restaurant it was. She's like, "I would move that to a different day so that you can do the supper club on this day with the comedy show," which we did. But she must have spent like 15, 20 minutes. She was kind of going through things and then talked about the brunch and directed us where we wanted to go to sign up for a brunch. So you had to walk to a different area. And at C Days, you can sign up for, they have two different places that have like a formal kind of sit down brunch that you can sign up for. So it was great. So we got all that knocked out. And then after the room, of course, we're walking around the ship. Now, so there's some things, if those of you who have listened to me on certain cruise ships know I have this thing with the elevators. Like it's I get frustrated with the elevators and sometimes how I feel like you're packed in sardines. Virgin, smaller ship, but it seemed like they have more elevators because you had elevators. I don't know. They probably didn't, but all I can say is I never had an issue. I don't think I had to wait more than 30 seconds for an elevator. When I was in an elevator, I was never felt like I was packed in a sardine. So kudos to their elevator. Whoever did the designing, easy to get around, but it's a smaller ship, easy to walk around. But it kind of had the vibe of like a Princess, um, or MSC maybe in terms of how they, just by the ship design. But unlike Princess, I felt it was very fluid. Like it was very easy to navigate, easy to get around. I never felt like it was too like cut off or compartmentalized. So that was cool. But the theme night. So Virgin has some theme nights. So the first theme night was the pajama party night. And that, I have to say, there's something about being an adult dressing up in pajamas and going to a dance. It's kind of fun. I don't know. It was fun. And they were playing, you could definitely tell. I think they have a clear idea who their primary sailor is because they're playing like a lot of 90s and early 2000s like hip hop and stuff. So I think they're catering it. So it wasn't the really old stuff which kind of gets stale after a while. It wasn't like the super new stuff like you might hear maybe on a MSC or a Carnival cruise. It fit the wheelhouse. So that was cool, and jamming to that. And they have people walking around to give shots. Now, to Nick's earlier point, if you want alcohol, you have to pay for it. And the same thing for the shots, but it's easy. They just scan your bracelet. It takes like 2 seconds. Um, but the pajama party was fun, and some of these people's pajamas were funny. Like you had people dressing up as like cow pajamas, and then and some different stuff. So it was fun. People watching and that. Um, but before that, actually, I know I'm kind of jumping around. The first night, based on your recommendation, we ate at Gunbai. And so for Gunbai is a Korean barbecue. And if you know, been to places where you kind of prepare your own food, so to speak, it's not quite like that, but it is where they have this like embedded oven, if you will, or grill, I guess you could say, and they prepare the food, like in front of you for the stuff that needs to get grilled, which is cool. But I would highly recommend people do Gunbay on the first day, for a couple of reasons. One, it's fun. So they have this drinking game. So Gunbay means cheers in Korean, and they have this drinking game that is a lot of fun. And even if you don't want to drink, like we had somebody at the table who wasn't drinking, they give you like water or something to do for the thing. But that was fun. The second thing is, so it's a community seating, which normally I'm like, I just kind of want to do my thing with who I'm with, and that's it. But but knowing from what you told me that it was already community seating, so I was already in the mindset. And I have to say, so there was two other couples that we met. I must have seen them 15 times throughout the rest of the cruise, and we would just see each other and chat and hi or whatever. So it's a great way if you're somebody who's not extremely extroverted, where your environment gets you to interact with people. And it was actually fun. And that was actually another theme in some of the formal sit downs where the way they have the seating is that you really do interact with some people more than what maybe you normally would for somebody like me, which was really cool. But Gumbai was really tasty. And I think, to meet some people on the first night, great way to do it. And then you top it off with the pajama party. So that was all in day one, that, which is a ton of fun.
I can say that I told you Gambay, it's my favorite restaurant personally, and I agree. I'm like you. I don't like usually sitting when people that I don't know, but I also every single time I went there, the atmosphere was fantastic on the table, so that's always super fun. And then the food. I mean, I love the food over there, and they kept coming. I thought, okay, it's gonna be 4 or 5 things, but then they kept coming, and you can ask for more. You can ask more of that. So it's yeah, I love this, and I agree with you with the drinks as well. I was partaking in that, and it was pretty fun. They
Yeah,
set you in the mood.
one of the benefits with Virgin, even though they don't offer an all inclusive drink package, is if you order a certain amount of drinks to be or dollar amount to be added to your wallet, they give you like bonus dollars. So I had purchased a certain amount and I got some extra bonus dollars on it. And candidly, I thought the drink prices were very reasonable. So the specialty coffee was anywhere between $4 to $6, depending on what you wanted, whether it was a latte or a mocha or something. But at those specialty coffee places, they have bakery items. And I have to say, the almond croissant, oh my God. Let's just say I had more than one, but less than 10 of those during the trip. But, but that was delicious. And then the drinks, the lines weren't very long. And I went at different times. And they're very efficient. And the drink prices were, for the coffees were between $4 to $6, which I felt was very reasonable. The alcohol drinks were very reasonable. I
Mhm.
think some places it seems like they're like $14, $18. Here, I want to say it was anywhere from like 8 to 12, depending on what you got. And then when I went to the Italian restaurant, I did get a more pricey glass of wine, but I mean, it was absolutely delicious. But um, I felt like you're not going to burn through your drink wallet fast because the drink prices were reasonable. And the other thing that I didn't really think about until I just was kind of like observing people, like you don't see, on some cruises, you see people are like sloppy drunk. They do the drink packages
Mm.
and it's not a good look. Right. And they're either loud or they're slurring or they're stumbling. You didn't see that at all at Virgin because you didn't have the all you can eat drink. Now, granted, there were people, including myself, that were feeling pretty good, but you didn't have like the sloppy drunk. I didn't see any anyway, which is kind of cool if that's not your jam, you know.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So this is actually the reason because talking to of course representative from Virgin at the multi occasion for the travel agency. That's literally the reason why they wanted to not have a all inclusive kind of things or drink package that all you can drink. It's for that reason because with their concept and their style on the ship, if they would have done it, okay, you can buy a all you can drink package, that would have been a carnival because
Mhm,
then you would have all the people going just to party and to drink. Here they wanted to have something different. That's the only cruise line who don't offer a all you can drink package, and they didn't purposefully. But the pricing is around 20% cheaper than any other cruise line for each drink. So
mhm,
beer, it's very affordable for people who want beer. Like it's around 20% cheaper than the other cruise lines. And they did it purposefully again. But you're right. There's a lot less cases of people completely drunk who are like
yeah,
completely crazy on the ship because of that reason and also the kind of people going. So people ask me a lot of time, like, what is the age average on Virgin? Well, like good that you ask because during the national conference, Virgin present actually their data for the last 2 years. 49 years old is the average age on the ship. Like it's an average. So you have some at 70 years old and you have some at 30, but you have a lot more in the 40 to 60 kind of range.
Mhm.
And so that's good to know because some people say, oh, I heard this party all the time. You have party carnival and you have party virgin. It's a very different kind of party. It's a lot of
Yeah.
fun of virgin, but it's different. And I will let you speak on that.
Yeah, no, totally, and I think that's why, like I was mentioning the music selection, right? Like, it fits that demographic, and yeah, I mean, so the second night, I'm talking about some of the theme parties is or maybe it was the third night, they start to blend together a little bit, but with Scarlet Night, and Scarlet Night is you get dressed up in red, so I had bought a red shirt, I bought red jeans,
I'm going to see it
um
on the video.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I go all in for those things as my co-host knows. I get into that. But what I knew, but it's one thing to hear about it, it's another thing to experience, is how they decorate the whole ship. So the sixth and seventh floor, it's all has this like red, almost hazy lighting. Um, I was telling my mom about it in the text and she jokes. She's like, well, if you drank so much, your eyes are bloodshot anyway, so it probably looks normal. But I mean, but it's just funny. But they have this thing with the octopus. Like there's a whole story
Hmm.
behind the Scarlet Night. Um, and they have these like different blow up balloon, like octopus tentacles and stuff. But it's really it's just cool. Like it's got a cool vibe. It's something different. Obviously people had different types of red combination outfits on, and some people had either a red top and red bottom, but a different color. And then obviously there's a few people that didn't dress up. But then you go to the kind of like the after party, so to speak, and they got a DJ and it's up on the stage and it's got all the red lights and just jamming, and it was a ton of fun. So regardless, I would recommend at least doing something along the theme and dressing up with the Scarlet Knight, but you don't have to enjoy it. But it's something different and something that builds the brand of Virgin. But it was cool. It had a cool kind of vibe to it, and I was really glad I got to experience that one.
I agree. I always tell people if you don't dress up, you will be in minority because the majority of people are dressing up. It's been a year and a half, 2 years now on the last time I sailed with Virgin, but at the time I was so shocked from the pajama party day one to the Scarlet party the last day and what's in between. I'm like, everybody dress up here. Very rarely you see someone like in the middle. If you don't dress up, people will look at you actually. I mean, that was my experience. But I'm glad to see, but from the picture I saw from what you sent during your week there, I could see that there's the pattern still the same. It's a lot of people like dressing up, and some more extravagantly than others. But it's
Yeah.
definitely fun experience to actually do that. And Scarlet, I mean, you need to talk about the main it's not a theater but the main room with the balcony on top and where they have like some activities at Scarlet Night. So when you go to the tunnel with diamonds and then you go
Oh yeah,
inside
yeah.
and so this is a
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
cool.
So yeah, if you've seen, I forget, it's a video. Is it Blinding Lights by Weekend or somebody,
Yeah,
or
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
it was the
actually
Super Bowl
yeah.
halftime show he did where he was kind of going through this hallway and surrounded his mirrors and lights, and that's almost exactly how it was. In fact, that's what I'm like, oh, I feel like the Weekend where I'm going in, the artist and going through. But that's what I mean. It has that bit of a rock star feel without being like over the top rock
And
stuff,
cheesy,
right?
yeah.
But
Mhm.
yeah, but you got the lights and the mirrors and the blinging, and you're walking through, and it leads you there. On the forward of the ship, I believe it was the forward, it might have been the aft, but anyway, they have this like triple netting where you can walk across, but it's like open to the sea. So like you walk across it, but you look straight down and you're right above the water, which is it's just kind of cool. And actually, that was one of the things. If in a future ship, like what would have been even more cool is if they had that like towards the bottom of the ship where it was glass and you could see into the water. Like
Mm.
that would be kind of wild to do something like that. But again, it'd probably be tough just because of no wildlife's going to be there while the ship's going through it. But there's some different things. They because it's a smaller ship, like they had a basketball court. that certain hours it was basketball, and then other hours it was pickleball. They had I think it was a 250-meter um, walking
Oh,
track. So yeah, to walk around, to do stuff like that. Plenty of hot tubs, plenty of seating. So sometimes you go on cruises, it's like there's no way you can find a seat for anything. So whether it was the galley, which I'll talk about next for a little bit, or out by the pool area or any of the seating area, never had an issue finding a lounge chair or a seat. So that was really cool. But the galley, I do have to talk about this. So my two favorite like kind of formal dining was Gun By and also Extra Virgin, which was the Italian. That was amazing. And one thing I didn't know that I learned is they actually make the pasta from hand on ship for Extra Virgin. So it tastes like it. It's absolutely delicious, a ton of flavor. So those were my two favorite. There's a place called the Test Kitchen, which is kind of like they use unique different dishes. In my experience, it's a love it or hate it thing because so here's the one I wanted to share. They had venison, and the venison was beautiful. It was a beautiful big piece of venison, but they took a Belgian chocolate like little cutout thing, stuck it on top, and then covered it with hot gravy so it melted. So I did, you know me, I'll try anything once. So I tried it. So I scraped off the Belgian chocolate off the venison and then ate the venison. Oh, oh, I ate the Belgian chocolate on its own, but I mean, it's not, but there were people, who loved the test kitchen. There were people like me who was like, and it took a while. They take a lot of time between dishes, so it's like a 2 hour and 15-minute
uh-huh.
experience. Now, the thing about Virgin is they don't have a buffet, but before you panic, listeners, they have a place called the Galley, and I have to say, across the board, outside of the two restaurants I mentioned, I thought that was the best food. So they have different themes. They have like a grill, and they change it up the themes each day. And the one day we ate there for dinner, it was Middle Eastern, and it was an Indian combo, and it was delicious. But they have a hamburger station, and every day is a different theme hamburger. One was actually a fish sandwich, another was a chicken burger, and then they even had a French toast burger and stuff, that was awesome. Then they have a taco station, and you can get all these like street taco types, and that was great. And then they have a ramen noodle bar, and that was extremely tasty. And if you're thinking about going to Razzle Dazzle, which is kind of like their Chinese place, my recommendation is skip Razzle Dazzle, just go to the noodle bar because it's
Agree.
basically the same, and you're in and out a lot quicker. And then they have a salad bar, and they have dessert area, they have a bakery area, they had a sandwich area, which I got avocado toast and a pastrami sandwich that was delicious. Both were delicious. Um,
And then
and I
good to
might be
know for
missing.
the galley, you can on the sandwich place, you have like those package that you can take for the room. So you can
Yes.
take a pack and
Yeah, the
that's
sushi,
fresh. Oh,
the
the
bento
sushi as
boxes. The bento boxes. Yeah, 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 yeah. And for breakfast, they convert the bento boxes. They keep the
well.
bento box, obviously, but they have fruit or different avocado, and that was awesome. So here's the thing: if you're hangry, you would probably miss not having the buffet because the buffet you can just walk up and get it. But I love the galley because they make it there right for you, right then and there, and
Mhm.
it's quick. So only a couple times I get stuck on the line that was kind of long. Most of the time, I didn't have to wait long at all, and the food was fresher because it wasn't sitting out in a buffet. So really love the galley. Highly recommend that, and you have a lot of variety, and it's open late. Most of those restaurants are open a lot later, so you can go like midnight, 1 o'clock. I mean, some places all you can get is pizza. Here, you could get a variety of different things still at that time, which is cool.
Yeah,
And
in
that
pizza
one,
you can get it super late. You can get those, and I remember me going there late. So it's
yeah,
definitely something I remember.
and they do room service. Now the caveat is they charge a $10 fee, but you can get room service almost any time, And, you load up on some stuff. So you want, for breakfast, you could pre-order breakfast if you don't want to get up and you just want to have it delivered. But I felt that was a nice, feature. And the $10 was no big deal when
No.
you think about it. I would say the entertainment was mixed. So I saw the magic show, which is good. They had a drag queen show, which was good. And then I did the comedy show that was a supper club. Um, it, but I would say, like, when I've gone to Royal or other places, and part of it is because it's a bigger ship and they have a bigger
Mm,
arena and stuff, but you have the bigger extravagant
production.
kind of shows and stuff. These were a lot of like solo artists doing it. So,
True.
and they didn't have the same, I would say, volume and variety of entertainment. Like, I like doing a lot of game shows. I
Mm,
just find it fun. They only had a few of those and stuff. So, just depending on what you like, you may nothing was bad. Like, I enjoyed the shows, but if you're looking to have a little bit more entertainment variety or bigger entertainment productions, that wasn't really their jam, on that one. And, and then I think the one other thing I would say, I thought it was a positive. So most places, the core casino is
mm,
smoking, and then they have a small non-smoking. Virgin is different. Their casinos are smaller, but
mhm.
their big main casino is non-smoking, and then they have a very secluded and parsed off smoking casino area. So they kind of flip the script on that. And then the only other thing I would say is, and we heard this from some of the other couples we were chatting with. So it'd be nice if they had a little bit earlier version of some of the late night stuff. So, like, a lot of their big event type things were starting at 11:30 at night, and there are some people are like, I wanna be in bed before that. Again, I know they're gonna have the late night crowd, and that's cool and fun, but it'd be nice if they would've had, like, 2 options where maybe you had an earlier one at, like, 8:30 or 9 that would go to 11, and then you have the 11 to 2 crowd. Because I think, like, if you wanna go dancing, but you're not somebody who takes a nap, or you're not somebody who likes to stay out late, you're gonna have to make a trade-off because most of the stuff happens, uh, most of the nights,
True.
later at night. But overall, would highly recommend. I really enjoyed Virgin. Very quiet. Again, no kids. So, and without the drinking package, it felt very relaxing. And this was a type of cruise I didn't want to go full throttle. I just wanted to be chill. And they do it in a way where it's cool, but it is really chill and very tranquil. So I really enjoyed it. I had a great experience.
Fantastic! You did a phenomenal job, brother. I love the way that you analyze each and everything. The only thing that I would add, that it's in a minus for me. I mean, not for me because I don't really care, but for majority of people, is the pool. You have a lot of jacuzzis, but the pool is extremely small. Just so you know,
Yes.
if you expect to spend the whole day in the pool, that's probably not going to be the best cruise line to use. But again, you have a lot of jacuzzi around if you like more intimacy, like small crowds kind of thing. That's definitely the case. But for the rest, love everything you said. I agree with everything, and it makes me want to go back already because it's been a while that I didn't go on Virgin. But thank you so much. Appreciate it. I hope that you love what you heard, and if you do, contact us, and we're more than happy to help you experience Virgin next time.
Yeah, would definitely recommend it. So thank you for your recommendation, because I know how well you enjoyed it, and I probably wouldn't have done it had you not shared your enthusiasm for it. Now I'm really glad I did. So that'll do it for this Wanderlust Wednesday winner. So please be sure you subscribe, share, and follow Two for the Win. And thanks again to Nick Menard and Associates with Dream Vacations for sponsoring today's episode. We'll see you next week, winners. Wanderlust your way away.
Bye, winners.
Bye.